Bam. All right. So how to convert fractions or decimals to a percentage is very straightforward. Literally, the word itself tells you. Per means every. Cent, which we know, centage, cent, means 100. So you just need 100 of them. Literally. That's the unit we measure in, because hundreds is just nice to work with. Could have been tens. We just chose 100. So we say for every 100. So if you want to convert anything into a percentage, you literally just need 100 of them. So, for example, half. Everyone, for whatever reason, everyone knows this as a percentage. They know it is 50%, right? But if I ask them, how do you get 50 from half? Because half is really just 0.5. But how did you get 50? 0.5 is not 50. But everyone knows half is 50%. But how do you get from 0.5 to 50? Times by 100. Because you're going to get 100 of them. Imagine I had halves like this pen is half. Okay? And I get another half. That's 2 halves. Makes 1. If I had 100 of them, what would that equal to? That's the number. That's why you say 50. But how did you get there? Was you times by 100. Why do you times by 100? Because you literally just said every 100. That's what percent means. You just want 100 of them. So you times it by 100. Yeah, because you want 100 of them. So the logic here, and I colored it and I bolded it and I made it big because it's just the one skill we try to teach. From year 7 to year 8, year 9, we do percentages. It's just one skill in your calculator. Times by 100. So when we say convert 3/5 to a percentage, that's one of the very entry skills in year 7 and year 8. And year 9, we assume that you know how to do it. This is like saying you got 3 shots in when you're doing 5 shots on a basketball court. So you had 5 shots in total. You got 3 out of 5 in. How do you change that to a percentage? Same concept. 3 out of 5, I just need 100 of them. If I get 100 of them, I get a percentage. So that's all I'm doing. Now you can do that on a calculator or you can do it by hand. At year 12, 11, outside in the real world, we don't do that by hand anymore. Okay, we do it on a calculator, but for some of us, we can do that very quickly in our heads. So let's do it on a calculator just to get the percentage first, just to show you how easy it is to do percentages. See, percentages, 3/5. What does this symbol mean? Divide. So you're literally, on your calculator, you're saying 3 out of 5 shots that I got into a basketball court, right? So out of 5 shots, I got 3 in. 3 divide 5, so I type 3 divide 5. That tells me the proportion. I need 100 of them. That's all you're typing on a calculator to work out a percentage. So this is what it looks like. I'll do it on a calculator so you can see. Here's a calculator. If I just did 3 divide 5. As a decimal, most people understand it in values. So it means 0.6. 0.6 is what 3 out of 5 is, right? So 3 out of 5, 0.6, I need 100 of those. So if I times it by 100, I have 100 of them. Times by 100. And that means if you got 3 shots in out of 5, you've got 60% of them in. 40% you missed, 60% you got in. That's all it means. This is out of 100. So out of 100, 60 was there, and then the other 40 was not. So out of 100, 60 went in, and 40 didn't. That's the logic. So the answer for this one, converting to percentages on a calculator, that was very easy. That just means 60 out of 100. 60%. I just needed 100 of them. What's the skill at year 7 and 8? Is that we want you to be able to do it mathematically by hand too, because calculators relied on the fact there was some logic, and the logic comes from hand skills, right? So how do you do this by hand? That's why exercise 3B was key, that you learned how to multiply fractions. So here, even if you didn't understand the skill in real life, you will still be able to do percentages. Everyone can do percentages. Divide and times, that's all it was, yeah? Let's do it by hand. So here's the by hand. 100 as a fraction, because that's 100 whole. It's a whole number, so it's 100 out of 1. Now, when you multiply fractions, in exercise 3B, how do you multiply fractions again? What do you do? Harrison.
See if there's like a common factor between two.
Very good. So that's the skill I want you to take away. Multiplying, you don't have to make denominators the same. There's that common mistake with year 8s. They usually try to make denominators the same. You don't have to. Yeah? Multiplying fractions is as simple as 3 times 100 and 5 times 1. So top with top, bottom with bottom. That's how you do multiplication of fractions. But, like Harrison said, the skill in year 8 is to try to simplify the problem first. Because if you don't do that, the numbers can be really big. In this case, I do see a factor that we can simplify. Which two numbers can you see, one top, one bottom, that has a common factor? Fraser. 105. So 100 and the number 5. It has to be one on the top, one on the bottom. Can't be two tops, can't be two bottoms. It has to be one top, one bottom. 105, they both have a common factor of 5. So how many 5s fit into 5? 1. So this becomes now 3 over 1 times, and how many 5s fit into 100? 20. So we know that's now 20 over 1. And you can see, now if I'd multiplied fractions the way we normally would, top with top, bottom with bottom, 3 times 20 gives me my 60. And 1 times 1 is 1, but 60 over 1, this just means 60 wholes. So that's why it's 60%. Because if you had 100 of those 3 fifths, you end up with a value of 60. So that just means 60 out of 100. That's all it is. Yeah? That's the hand method. This is the calculator. This is what I'm teaching my year 12 for a particular subject. It's about applying the maths to do their taxes and their deductions and their finances. That's what they're learning. You guys are learning the theory, and then later on you start applying. Okay, so applying reality-wise, we use calculators to do it. We do it efficiently. This one is to teach you the basics. Okay, so you've got, so far, year 7, year 8, year 9, to master the basics. By the time you get to senior mathematics, 10, 11, 12, it's about applying. But you can't apply if you don't get it. Yeah, so that's why I still have to teach the theory to my 12s. I don't expect them to do this anymore. Okay, because you just run out of time to learn the skills anymore. Okay, so if you can learn this, great. If you can't, that's the reality. Yeah? Let's do another practice. Here we go. Let's say 3/5 is a fraction. To convert to percentage, I said times by 100. Same concept with 4.5. If I want to convert to a percentage, it's the same thing. Every 100. 4.5, I just need 100 of them. So here we go. If I need 100 of them, times by 100. Now, we did this last session. If you times by 100, you can move the decimal place how many spots and to which direction?
Back. So move it to the right.
Yep.
The number of zeros is the number.
Good. So there's 2 zeros, so you're going to move it to the right twice, and that means the decimal point will be over here. If the decimal point's there, but there's a gap, what do you fill it with?
0.
0. So what does this mean? 4.5. If you had 100 of them, it ends up being... 450. And what that just basically means is 4.5 is equivalent to 450%. Okay? And that's, for some reason, a lot of students find that hard to understand. You can have 450%. You can have 4 times the amount. Because that's what you're saying. Because 1 is itself, so it's 100%. Doubling 2 is double, 200%. 3 is 300%, so 4 makes sense to be 400%. And with the extra 50, that makes it 450%. Okay? But can you see the skill that I'm teaching you so far? Percentage was not hard. Percent literally means every 100. You just need 100 of them. That's all it was. I have no idea. Maybe it's the noun version. Got to ask an English teacher for that one there. All right. This exercise, that's all you're doing. You're converting all of these into percentages and then likewise percentages to decimals. The other way is even easier. When you say 35%, percent meant every 100. So 35% literally meant 35 over 100. That's your fraction. So if I said, how do you convert percentages to fractions? You literally just read it. 35 over 100. But then if I said convert that to a decimal, 35, this symbol means divide. You literally just divide by 100. But when we divide by 100, what do you do to a decimal point again? Move to left by 2 because there's 2 zeros. So moving once, moving twice. Point is right in front of 3, so therefore it's 0.35. So you can see we went through 3 conversions there just on reading what percent means. Percent means every 100. Yeah. Yeah, that's all it means. 30% just means every 100. There's my fraction. My fraction just means 35 divided 100. Type that on a calculator or do it by hand, 0.35. The common mistake though is this one. When I give it to my year 8s without prompting, especially in the test, what do you think they would write? 50. That's the most natural thing. There's something about the half, like I said, everyone knows and everyone loves the half, 3/4, a quarter. They all know 25, 50, 75%. But for some reason, when I do the same thing here, they do this one wrong. It's not 50%. Because you literally, if you think about that, that means 0.5 for every 100. 0.5 is less than 1. How does that end up being 50 for every 100? Doesn't make sense. So this one here, this actually means, if we really read it, this means half for every 100. Literally. That's what it means. So if you said 35% means 35 for every 100, then this one means half for every 100. This one means 240 for every 100. Conveniently, this is easy. 240 divided by 100. Move the decimal point back twice. So 1, 2. And it ends up being 2.4. So that was nice. But the next one, though, this is where students struggle. And even at my year 11 methods, who are meant to be strong with in mathematics, still struggle with fraction on fraction. If you have a calculator, it's pretty easy. So this just means 1 divide 2, which is half, then divide by 100. And you get your decimal. But I'm going to teach you how to do it by hand and then also by calculator. Okay, so here we go. Because half is a value, if you do it on a calculator, make sure to use brackets. Otherwise, the calculator gets confused. Okay, half comes together. So that's a half, that's a value for every 100. So you're taking 0.5 divided by 100. Yeah? Now, how do you do this by hand? This is all it means. This is what I teach my year 11 method students. 11 method students means that they're generally the top 30% of the class. The students that are strong at maths, right? This is all you have to do. This is half, so write it. It's half. This symbol means divide, so write it out. Just like how I've been doing it over here. 240 divide 100. Half divide 100. But funny enough, when I do this for my year 11s, they're like, oh, I can do that now, sir. But when I give them this, they're like, I don't know how to do it. I give them this, they know how to do it. Isn't that funny? So they can do this in year 7, year 8. I give them this, and they're like, nah, no idea. Never done it before in my life. You have. You've already done division. Division is KFC, right? So KFC, let's write it out. KFC, keep the first. Keep the first, flip the second. Change the sign, right? So here we go. 100 as a fraction is 100 over 1. So keep the first. Flip the second. Change the sign. Now, how do you multiply fractions again? What do you do?
Top with top, bottom, bottom.
Yeah, that's it. Top with top, bottom with bottom. This is what my year 11 method students are prompted. So it's 1 over 200, which, yes, you can either work this on your calculator or you can do it by hand. This just means 1 divided by 200. That's all it means. Okay, so on a calculator, if you did 1 divide 200, it's 0.005. If you did it by hand, you're asking how many 200s fit into 1. And you can see here, can 200 fit into 1? No, so it's 0. Point. Carry the 1 over. Can 200 fit into 10? No. So then you carry that 10 over. Can you fit 200 into 100.
No.
No again. Whoops, I forgot the 0 there. And then finally, carry the 100 over, so it becomes 1,000. How many 200s in 1,000? And that's how you get 0.005. So if you do it by hand, that's what it looks like. This is what it looks like by calculator, and this is what it looks like as a fraction. In your textbooks, as you're doing this, likely they want it as a fraction.
Can you just do it as like, just put the zeros on the other side of the line? It's like, it's 0.00, because it's 2 zeros, and the 200.
Oh yeah, that's another way of thinking about it. That's very good actually. 1 divided by 200 is the same thing as saying 1 divided by 100 times 2. So 100 times 2 is 200, but we already know what 1 divided by 100 is. 1 divided by 100, you just move the decimal point back. 1, 2. Right, so you got 0.01, and then you can times that. Actually, what did I do? Oh, no. Sorry. What were you saying?
I was saying like on the calculator it says, yeah, you can like move it back 2 zeros like you did with the times. When it's like times 100, you can put it back. You can put the decimal place forward 2.
I'm going to have to sit with you to understand what I was saying.
It's fine. It's right.
Okay, cool. All right, team. And lastly, for our last example today, hopefully the only thing you're taking away is percent, just means every 100. This one looks complicated, but it isn't. It's just another sort of tedious process to do. Convert 2 and 1/6 to a percentage. You can convert it into improper fraction first, or you can just convert the 1/6. Yes, very good. Because 2 would imply that's going to be 200%. You just need to work out what 1/6 is as a percent, and that would be the quicker way to do it. But if you wanted to do it the long way is to convert it into improper fraction. How do you convert this mixed fraction into improper again, Lennox?
2 times 6 plus 1.
Good. 2 times 6 is 12. Plus 1 is? 13. So you can write 13 out of 6. That's the proportion. If you want to find percentage, what do you do again?
You times it by 100.
Times by 100 because you need 100 of them. So here, if you're doing it by hand, multiplying fractions, we know we can do top with top, bottom with bottom, but simplify where you can. I see 2 numbers that I can simplify. Which 2 numbers? 106. They're both even numbers. If they're even, that means 2 definitely fits into both of them. How many 2's fit in 6 and how many 2's fit into 100? Good. So this becomes 3. This becomes 50. And you end up with 13 over 3 times 50 over 1. And unfortunately, there's nothing else you can simplify from here. So you do 13 times 50, 3 times 1. Now 3 times 1 is easy. 13 times 50, you're going to have to do it on the side. So this is not ideal. But you can do 13 times 5 and then times by 10 afterwards. Because 50 is just 10 groups of 5. So here we go. Let's do 13 times 5. 5, carry the 1. 65, so it must be?
650.
650. Now, if you want to convert this into a percentage, that is the percent. It's just that we don't know what that number is. So work out what 650 divided by 3 looks like. So how many 3's fit into 650? Let's go. How many 3's fit in 6? 2. How many 3's fit in 5? Remainder? 2. So that's now 20. How many 3's in 20? 6. Remainder? 2. Good. So you carry the 2. Then it becomes 6 again. Remainder 2. 6. Remainder 2. 6. Remainder 2. So what is your percentage?
260.666 or 16.
Very good, which is like what Fraser said. Because there's a 2 at the front, it had to be more than 200%. 1/6 was actually that 16.666%. That's what 1/6 is. Okay? That's the long way of doing it. Obviously, the quicker way was, you already knew 2 was 200%. If you just typed on your calculator 1 divided 6, you probably would have got the answer just from that already. So if I just did 1 divided 6, then times by 100 of them, that's 16.66. Since you already know 2 is 200%, and then 1/6 is 16.66, together, that's 216.66%. So that's with a calculator, and that's what I'm trying to say. If you've got a calculator, it's a lot quicker. This is by hand, but in order to do by hand, do you see how many skills I'm using? Multiplying, long division, short division, long multiplication, merging between improper and mixed fractions. It's hard. Okay, so if you hadn't got 3B skills, that's why I said I wanted you to practice 3B. That's why next week on a Wednesday, I'm still going to make another quiz. I want you to practice 3B, because the stronger your times tables, the stronger your fraction skills are, the easier it is to follow what I'm saying. If you don't understand that bit, then at least you can take away that component for your own time. Okay, so that's the application component. This is the skills component. All right, I'll stop there. That's all for today. Now